you look like so good at Snatch. I'm like, well, thank you. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So throughout the past year almost, but definitely throughout the past 6 months or so, a lot of you have been asking me how I lost weight, how I toned up, and a lot of you have just been noticing that I lost some weight. So I've been saying I wanted to make a whole video about that and how I did it and like the real kind of tea. Don't forget to subscribe and let's just get into it. But just for a little context, I'm tall, I'm like 5'8". I've always been on the taller side and on the slimmer side. So back in 2017, I started my fitness journey. I started lifting weights and just being a little more conscious of like my protein intake. I was vegan at first, and then once I started lifting, I just started having really intense cravings for like salmon and like animal products, which y'all remember when I came out as non-vegan, it was like a whole thing. I think listening to my body really helped me gain muscle, because at that point I was really just focused on like growing my butt, and I just really enjoyed lifting. And I feel like at that time too, like being thick was like the body trend, which that's a whole nother discussion of like bodies being trends. I was working out, lifting heavy, and just kind of eating whatever I wanted. Not like whatever I wanted, I was still eating healthy, but just eating. So fast forward to now, I moved to New York actually like a year ago this month, and I knew moving here that my life would change in a lot of ways, and I did not really consciously make the decision to like lose weight or tone up. It just kind of happened. So now we're gonna get into how I did that and actually became like more toned. And I think what people mean by toned is just like you have less fat on your body so that your muscles show more. And that's kind of like what happened to me. When I lived in LA, and then for a few months during the holidays, I was living back home. All throughout that time, I was taking a mass gainer instead of a regular protein powder. It's so funny because I just always felt like it was not really making a difference. Like I just didn't really notice. But now, especially when I look at my face from that time to now, it's like I've lost so much weight in my face. And I think that is like a huge reason. So basically I just switched back to using a regular protein powder. And I mostly did that because I was like, okay, why am I taking this? My light literally just died. Okay. I think once I moved, I needed to buy a new protein powder, and I was just like, let me just go back to trying a regular protein powder and just see how I feel. The bottom line with that is just like eating less calories, which is like obvious. People want to complicate weight loss so much, and you know, people will prey on people who are looking to lose weight with like these fad diets and like tricks and like products. Bro, it really just comes down to calories in versus calories out. If you are eating too many calories, you're not going to be losing weight. And like you can do that through more exercise, more cardio. You can do that by your food intake. Everybody's body is different, so I'm not gonna sit here as someone who's naturally been on the slimmer side like my whole life and be like, it's easy. Because like I don't know your struggle, I don't know your life, but in general it's like that's what it comes down to. So that brings me to my second point, which is just really focusing on my protein intake and making sure I'm getting enough protein every day. Protein is what helps you build your muscles, you know. It also can keep you fuller longer and just more satisfied. I think that's a huge reason why, again, this is like a separate topic of video, but during the high carb vegan days I would just eat so much, and even though I was skinny, I was very like skinny fat, and like my face was just so puffy and bloated all the time, and I just was never satisfied. So my stomach would hurt so much after eating because I just would eat and eat and eat and never feel full. And I think that's a big reason why I kept my muscle mass and am able to achieve that kind of like more cut, toned look, you know, where you have less fat but you still have your muscles. So protein is so important, y'all. For reference, in general, most people need about 1 gram of protein per pound of your total body weight. So if you weigh 130 pounds, you need 130 grams of protein per day. And it might seem like a lot at first, but it's actually pretty easy once you kind of like know what you like to eat and you kind of like plan, at least mentally, what you're going to be eating each day. And of course things like a protein powder can help supplement. So the third way, or the third thing I kind of did, is just getting more cardio, which again, calories in versus calories out. I moved to New York, so I get way more steps here just on an everyday basis, because you take the train, you walk places. It's a very walkable city. In LA, I was at home most of the time, or like, so it was like a struggle for me to get to 10,000 steps every day. You know, like I had to actively try, unless I was like doing a hike or like really like planning something. But I think that also is like a big reason why is I'm just more active. And of course I still work out. Maybe I should have like started with that, but I still work out usually like 5 days a week, sometimes 6, depending. Like the weekends it's like I'm usually just doing other stuff, or I'd rather like clean my house instead of like go to the gym. But yeah, I still lift weights. I'm actually like the strongest I've been now, at least with like my squats. Like I'm squatting the heaviest I ever have, like even when I weighed more. And then for my cardio at the gym, so that's on top of just like being active, running about the city every day. But I usually do 20 to 30 minutes on the Stairmaster at level 8, or if all the Stairmasters are taken, or sometimes like half of them will be broken and out of service, then I will just do an incline walk. Because summer is coming up, I do want to focus more on like abs, and I got a new little waist trainer, so we're gonna like be a little more snatched. Let me get to my final reason for losing weight, and this is not really this is not a recommendation, okay? But so I'm sure a lot of you can relate if you go through like a stressful time, like moving, if you go through a toxic relationship, if you just are going through something very chronically stressful, which is like stressful every day, and like maybe every day it's, you know, different levels of stress. Like one day you might not be stressed out, but like if you're constantly kind of kept at this like level of anxiety, that's going to affect your health and your body. There's no way around it. And so I was going through a lot of that, and I think like all at once, and I think that really just contributed to it. But it's just funny because at no point was I like not eating or like had no appetite. It's just like genuinely, it's like all these things combined, you know? So already I'm more active, already like I'm taking this protein instead of this. So then adding that layer of stress on top of everything, I think just really like did it. And it's like so funny because people be like, oh my God, you look like so good at Snatch. I'm like, well, thank you. Like on one hand, yeah, I eat right, I like work out, I do take a lot of like effort and like investment into my body, you know, how it feels, my health, how it looks, period. But then also I think a big part of that was just like stress and emotional distress, not having a regulated nervous system. So with all this being said, feeling good and having your health is more important than anything, okay? A lot of times if you want to make a lifestyle change, you need to be honest with yourself. So for example, if you want to lose weight because maybe, you know, you just haven't been feeling your best, maybe you haven't been working out, you feel kind of like sluggish or just like you don't feel like your best, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, like what are the changes I need to make? Like let's make a reasonable list, because once you're honest with yourself, you can actually make the steps, create a plan to make the changes. If you're just always bullshitting to yourself like, oh, it's fine, or oh, I'll start tomorrow, or oh, this and that, it's like you're never gonna get anything done. And that goes for anything in life. Starting a new career, if you want to pursue something, if you want to, you know, get a degree in something, like anything, if you want to like travel more or do this or do this year, like bro, you need to be honest with yourself. I just hate when people say they're gonna do something and don't do it. Like even like if there's someone I follow, like we're mutuals, and they're like always like, oh, I'm not gonna, like they put on their story like in IG create with like a text like, I'm not drinking anymore, like after today I'm not drinking, and then like 2 days later they're like posting a boomerang of them at the bar. It's like you're lying to yourself. So then also it comes down to being honest with yourself. If someone or something, whether it's a person, a job, some kind of situation in your life is bringing you stress and anxiety and a bad time every single day, or majority of the time, enough time for it to affect how you feel frequently, you also need to be honest with yourself. Is this the right relationship for me? Is this the right career path for me? Is this the right job for me at this time? What can I do to change things and to make myself feel better? Because you will not thrive and succeed and be your best self if you're constantly feeling just like stressed or like just okay enough to kind of get by, you know? And unfortunately, this is just, you know, a reality for a lot of people. And I think just our society doesn't really promote well-being as much as like it kind of does in a capitalistic, like, let me sell you something way. It really doesn't, because a lot of the time someone's well-being, for someone to truly be their best self, have their best own interests in mind, that's gonna inconvenience other people, you know? That's gonna not everybody can get their way all the time. And like, on one hand, that's like, okay, like, I respect you, you respect me, but most people don't think like that. Whoever took care of you growing up may not have portrayed that well to you, whether it was in their own decisions or just with you towards you, you know, respecting your decisions and choices and thoughts as an individual, even if you were a child. And so, you know, just most people don't have that, either respect for others or self-respect. So it's like, most people are either going to just always put themselves first at the expense of other people, or you're going to do the opposite and always put everybody else's needs and wants before your own. Either way, it's like, that's not a good dynamic, you know? In order to respect others, we need to respect ourselves, you know? And if you don't respect yourself, it's going to be a lot harder to have, you know, meaningful relationships and purpose and like the career you want, or just like your life dream, like what you eventually want in your life. Maybe it's not a career, but you know, like whatever it is. So you need to be honest with yourself. I think accountability goes such a long way. It's like, okay, what did I fuck up at? That doesn't mean like you have to take responsibility for like harm others did to you, but like with your own personal choices and decisions, it's like, okay, like what can I do better next time? What steps can I take today or tomorrow to create the next day, a better life for myself in the future? Health is wealth, so put your health before anything, because anything not good for you is going to bite you in the ass later. You know, like you can only be too stressed out for so long before that starts affecting you in ways that are going to be even more out of your control. You can only do unhealthy methods of weight loss for so long before you gain the weight back, or, you know, again, start having other health problems because you're doing this. So when you prioritize your peace, your health, peace of mind, your well-being, your own self and life and journey before anything else, like that's when you're gonna see true results. And that might not look like, you know, someone else's results or like, oh, the dream body that I want, but it's like, it'll be right for you. Yeah, okay, this is what I did, but it's like, okay, some of that also was like not intentional, not like healthy. I was not feeling good mentally when I was going through that, and like I'm fine but that's kind of like the real tea. And yeah, I think a lot of people just aren't honest too, especially with all this like Ozempic and just, I don't know, like historically speaking, you know, people always have done very unhealthy ways to fit the societal beauty standard. Sometimes that brings you more opportunities, unfortunately, because that's the world we live in, but it's like there needs to be not even like a balance, but it's like you need to accept yourself for who you are as an individual. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I do plan on doing a what I eat in a day maybe next week or in the following weeks, but you can also check out my most recent ones from, I think I did one last month. I did some on TikTok and IG, so I will link those down below. But yeah, that's kind of the bottom line, y'all. Let me know if you have any specific questions. I will answer them. But yeah, just stay active, get your self-care routine going. That's really what I think of like exercise and eating well and getting enough sleep and like, I don't know, using good skincare and everything like that. It's like, to me, that's just self-care, and that's investing in myself and my body so that I can live the life that I want because I feel good. Therefore, I can have the experiences I want because I'm like here to enjoy them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys gained something from this video, and let me know what you want to see next time. Bye everyone.